Hey guys, Kevin Cleary here with a knife news video for you. Now, there are a number of things I want to cover here, but before we get into that, I've got a couple of more bags of nice knife news baggies. So the way these work is you put your expensive knives or nicer finished knives in there. What have I got in this one? So this is the TIE Fighter from Brian Tie and Friends. And it just protects your stuff. Okay, so I really like them. I use these. I have a few knives in knife bags like that, or variations on it. And so I wanted to go ahead and give away more of those. Now I thought about how to make this a little more interesting, and this is what I've come up with. What we're gonna do is I want you to watch the video and come up with some interesting, witty, smart-ass remark, put it in the comments below, and then I want everybody else, and yourself included if you're commenting, read those other comments and give a like to the one that you think is funniest or most interesting or whatever. All right, and so what I'm going to do is at the end of a few days, probably by the weekend, which is coming up, I will go through the comments and see who got the most likes on their comment, and that will be who gets one packet of knife bags, and then second place will be whoever got the second most, and they'll get a packet as well. Okay, so that should be a fun thing to do. And by the way, please keep it PG, okay? I don't really want a lot of profanity and stuff down there. So if that happens, I'll just delete your comment and you'll be out. All right, so thanks a lot for doing that. It should be a lot of fun in the comments down below. The other thing I want to do is ask you a quick question. I've noticed that the Jessica X, that Chris whatever from Prepared Minds 101, it's come down in price, and it's kind of on, I don't know if sale is the right term, but the price has come down on a number of different websites that I use. And so I'm thinking, man, at that price, I might pick one up. I do like larger knives. I love my BK9 and my SCHF 52. So what do you guys think? Is that a knife you're into? Would you like to see a review of it and a discussion of it? Or is it like, yeah, that's one to pass on? Maybe more people than we think are saying that's one to pass on, and that's why the price is coming down. I'm not sure. So that's just a question. It's not really part of the knife news stuff. So let's go ahead now and get into the news items that to me stand out as a little more interesting. Number one is the pretty cool story, or pretty interesting story, about the custom knife market softening. And I'd actually go so far as to say the knife market in general, I think, is getting a little softer. And there are a number of reasons I think that. Primarily though is, you know, I try to kind of watch what's happening in terms of how fast things move and how much demand there is for stuff. And there are a few big knives that have come out, and I've seen a few knives, really nice knives for a really good price, listed on the secondary market in a couple places that just don't move. You know, where I'm looking at this going, this is a great price. Now, it's not a knife I'm interested in, so I don't want it, but I can't believe this is happening. Previously, if you went to, say, bladeforums.com, that's the knife site I frequent the most, and a knife was listed for sale that was a good knife and a good price. Like, if you didn't get it right away, within the first 20 minutes, or even sometimes within the first 5 minutes, it would be gone. The last little while, I've seen knives. There was a sliced Bowie, which had been wildly popular a few days ago, and it sat for hours without anyone even trying to buy it. And so you go, yeah, it looks like maybe things are not as brisk as they once were in the knife industry in terms of the buyers who are ready to shell out the cash. Next, maybe this is related. Three companies now, Kershaw, Benchmade, and Spyderco, have all released their discontinued models for 2017, and there are a number of those. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but a couple that stand out to me are, one, Spyderco dropping the H&K line altogether. Did I say Spyderco? How about Benchmade dropping the H&K line altogether? Spyderco, no big surprises from them. The Zabo is going to go, and no surprise, it's a great knife. I kind of hate to see it go, but it's not very practical, and I can see why, you know, they wouldn't sell like hotcakes. And the Chubby, which I hated. I don't know why anyone would want that knife in the first place. So that one to me is no big surprise, although maybe you're watching and think it's the greatest knife ever, I'm not sure. Finally, ZT, that one's an old story, it's been out for a while, but the 801 and a few others, there are a lot of really nice ZTs that are discontinued, and if you're watching this, you might want to know that the 0200 is somebody, Knife Center I think, has a really good sale on it. So those are the discontinued knives. Now, one story that I just thought was humorous, and I included it just because it was really interesting to me and really gave me a bit of a laugh. The Amazon knife, the top selling knife on Amazon is like this tack force, piece of junk thing. I went ahead and searched on Amazon.ca. I was curious whether or not they'd be the same, and they're not. In Canada, it's the PK383 tactical rescue knife, which I don't know, doesn't mean much to me. But I think it's just confirming kind of what we all knew, right? That the average person going out to buy a folding knife is not very savvy. They're not buying things that are good steel or well constructed or anything like that. Most of the knives in people's pockets, and sometimes I check, are often as dull as can be. Okay, and so that's sort of an interesting story and just kind of a fun one that I thought was rather humorous. But yeah, top selling knife on Amazon, big surprise, is a total piece of junk. Now, thinking of a total piece of junk, the CRKT Hootenanny, which is a great knife, not a piece of junk at all, was released in a special limited run from Knife Center in titanium, carbon fiber scales, and S30V steel, or it was supposed to be S30V steel. Turns out it wasn't. I remember reading this story the day it came out on Blade Forums. A guy posted a picture of his rusted knife. It was like, how could this be S30V? And sure enough, it wasn't. So there's going to be some interesting fallout from that. I will say props to Knife Center and CRKT for getting out in front of it and saying, yeah, anyone who's got one, go ahead, send it back, we'll take care of it. And that's really good. One more story that was interesting to me was the story about the professional sharpener using the work sharp, and the way he did it was really cool. He bought 4 of them, which, in terms of a business and setting up a business, you're only talking about $400 or $500. So he bought 4 of them and set them up with the various belts so that instead of having to change the belts out, he could just move from machine to machine. Great setup. I'm sure it would allow him to sharpen a lot of knives very quickly. So I really like the idea. And it was interesting to me because I've been doing some sharpening for some people, offering it sort of as a service. Now, I don't want to offer it here on the channel. Sorry, guys. But I don't want to get into the logistics of having mail coming in and having to sharpen stuff and send it back out and all of that. Plus, I find anyway, shipping in Canada, the cost of it is prohibitive, right? It would cost you a minimum, if you did small packet, you're like $8. They're $8 back, so that's $16. Plus, even if I only charged you $5 for sharpening, that's still $20 to sharpen a knife. And yeah, anyway, not feasible here in Canada. So unless you live within half an hour of me or so, you don't send me any stuff to sharpen. So those are some of the more interesting news stories. I wanted to ask about that last story though. There was a point where the business owner suggested that because of the super steels, because of, what have I got that's a super steel here nearby? Nothing really. I've got an LMAX steel here, a Benchmade, it's S30V. I don't find S30V that bad to sharpen. S35VN is even easier to sharpen, okay? But do you guys have knives that you don't feel comfortable sharpening? I'm just curious. I know for me, even my most expensive stuff, the hardest steels I have, whatever, I sharpen it all. But I'd love to know what you guys do with that. And I know I'm now asking another question that's going to conflict with the giveaway, but that's okay. Maybe you'll make a smart remark about sharpening. Okay, finally, there's some upcoming products that I want to touch on very quickly. A few new Spydercos that look pretty interesting. They're starting to hit market. I think I saw someone with a Spider Chef, which is the sliced design. There's the Gale Bradley Advocate, and there's pre-orders are on now for it starts with an M. It's like replacing the Rubicon. So that's all pretty cool. There is a Gerber multi-tool, the center drive from Gerber, and it looks really good. I'm normally not a huge fan of Gerber. My go-to multi-tool is the Leatherman, well, my EDC multi-tool is the Leatherman Style, but I also in my bag carry the Signal because it's got some of those survival capabilities. You know, I do think Leatherman makes fine multi-tools, and this is one, the center drive, that I definitely want to pick up. And they're saying it'll be out before the end of the year. So hopefully before the end of the year on this channel, you should see a review of the Gerber center drive. I'm definitely going to be trying to get my hands on one. And now, one more thing. This week, big news, the 606 is going to the factory custom from Zero Tolerance is going to be released. I think it goes on sale on the 3rd. And I think tonight or tomorrow night, they're going to say, like, this is where you can buy them. So they're going to announce the retailers tonight or tomorrow night. And then Thursday morning, right? Thursday morning, you'll be able to buy them or be able to try and buy them if you can. Okay. So that's an interesting story. I'd love to know, is anybody here watching going to be trying to get their hands on one? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that particular model, but I do know how I feel about trying to get one, and I know it's a pain in the neck, so I probably won't be chasing after a 606, but maybe some of you will. So go ahead and comment below if you're really after one. All right, there you go, guys. That's all I've got for knife news. I'd love to hear in the comments below anything that is new and developing that I forgot to mention, or that maybe you just know about and you have personal knowledge of and you'd like to share with us. That would be great. Remember though, smart comments, witty comments, funny comments that we can all kind of gauge below, and whoever gets the most likes on their comment, I am going to send you out some of the knife bags from knifenews.com. All right, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you soon.